Hello fellow humans, and there is even more crates in the shop now, unfortunately, and this time it is the Lucky Sevens containers. So what I'm going to do is I'm obviously not going to open any of them. However, I'm going to go through all the tanks and let's find out whether they're good or not. I mean, obviously we can start with the Smasher immediately, and the Smasher is completely OP and broken. Anyway, then what is also OP is the like button, so hit it. Then the Type 62, very good tank, gotta say, has lovely heat rounds, has great DPM, and also has good alpha damage for a light tank like this. So it was sold for 3,000 gold a couple of months ago, so if it comes back in the shop, it's definitely worth it. M41D has even more DPM, but has less alpha damage and also less penetration, so also less armor. So I would definitely prefer the Type 62, even though the Type 62 is slightly slower. But then again, both of them are very capable light tanks. There. The AT-15, I mean, I hate it. That should be obvious at this point, if you know me. However, if you like not having any tactical versatility, then this can be a very good tank, because obviously you have 3,300 DPM at tier 7, which is quite a bit. And you also have quite strong and decent armor, whereas your mobility does not exist. Now, 3,000 DPM on the E25, which is also very good. Now, obviously, you only have 160 alpha damage, which isn't really that great for a tank destroyer like this. If you have no armor, you kind of want to have some punching power, but in this case you kind of don't. It still can be a very fun tank, but it is not that competitive anymore. Obviously at camping it still does well, but anything else, no. VK4503, it exists. That is about everything I have to say about this tank, because it simply does exist. And I mean, sure, it's there. It's like a Tiger 1, but premium. There's no real point in buying this thing ever, even if it's in the shop for regularly, so it just exists. It's there. Panther M10 is Panther M shit. 160 alpha damage. Not that good penetration. You do have the DPM, but overall, unless you hate having high win rate, this is not a good tank to have. Tankenstein, however, is a good one, kind of, if you do use the correct gun, because it does have two. And the one that you want to use is the one that has the gun mantlet properly, and that is the T29 gun, at which point you can just play the T29, because why would you spend money on that? So yeah, just get the T29 instead. The Dracula, I think one of the most overrated tanks in the game. It can be still quite fun to play, but it is not a good tank by any means in that sense, but it can still be fun. Often, I have no idea what the hell this thing is. I don't have it. Can't tell you anything about it, but I wouldn't buy it. Like, what the hell? What is this even? Like, what the fuck is that tank? And we have a lot more of these. Continuing with the M4, it has a auto reloader, which is quite nice, but then again, I wouldn't spend money on something like that. Same goes for these, the Vulcan, the Lupus, the Edelweiss, and the Nameless. I don't have any of these four, and I will never have them. I don't ever see them in battle either, so I don't think there is much point in getting them. They just have 400 alpha damage, only 1.6k DPM, so they're nothing outstanding. They just look funky, and that's about it. So, again, not worth getting. Lycan, however, is a bit of a different story, because this is a, well, very good tank. This is the Object 2 after U of tier 7, with also 400 alpha damage to 1,800 DPM. 10 degrees of gun depression as well, by the way, and a pretty much impenetrable turret here. Obviously, the front plate isn't the greatest. Can be penned by some tanks, especially tier 8s, but if you're in a tier 6 battle, you're absolutely going to completely destroy everyone, and the lower plate is a weak spot in any tank. I don't even know why I have to say that, but anyway. Helsing, like the Dracula, it's dying of old age. It is somewhat overrated at this point. However, 2,600 DPM, 2 shots, still allows you to be somewhat versatile. So it can be a good tank if it's sold for around 3,000 gold. Blaze, I mean, it doesn't have armor, it doesn't have good mobility, it has 2k DPM, 400 alpha damage. I mean, you know my opinion on a tank like this, and my opinion on a tank like that is, it's shit. But there are obviously people that are going to enjoy a tank like that, which is very nice. Same with the T28. Like, speaking of the T28 HTC real quick, this thing is garbage. Like, straight up, absolute, utter garbage. These cupolas right here, these machine gun ports, they're penetrable by everyone at every angle. So you have to really, really get into funky angling to make this thing somewhat effective. And then the lower plate here is flat, and most premium rounds are going to go through anyway. So, yeah, that tank's dog. Very dog. This thing, however, isn't. 3000 DPM, only 160 alpha damage though, but a very solid tier 7 heavy tank. And if it's shot properly, then it can certainly be worth it. You see, I'm not talking about the crates, I'm only talking about the tanks, right? Because if you buy the crates, you're not intelligent. Don't buy the crates. That's a bad idea. That is a very bad idea, to buy the crates. What is also a very bad idea is to get the ISU 122S, because even though it has 2000 DPM, it has 400 alpha damage. It is not the SU-152. It doesn't have armor, it doesn't have great mobility. Something like that needs alpha damage to work, and it doesn't have that. So again, not worth it. Get the SU-152 instead. It's a lot better. M6, I mean, get the T29, okay? The T29 is just better. That's the only thing I have to say about that. This thing is an interesting one. It can be quite a good challenge if you are a good player. It can be a fun little challenge to play. However, overall, again, wouldn't recommend it. Not that great of a tank. Now, as you can see already, so far, the only ones that are actually cool are the two Chinese light tanks, and if you hate yourself, the AT-15, and then the FV. So that's what we're at right now. The IS-2, I mean, it's a copy of the regular IS-1, so again, why would you buy it? Also, why in general would you buy any tier 7? You know, the main reason why I hate on these a lot is because they're tier 7. They don't make you as much crits, and they don't give you as much damage as a tier 8. You know, so they're not as effective, and they're not as good at making crits, and they're not as good at getting damage. So always get a tier 8 premium tank when you can. Do not get tier 7 or anything lower than that. Then same goes for the SU-122 that I said about the ISU. Low alpha damage. I mean, it has a bit better armor, but then again, it's immobile, not very fun. So there is that. And then we have two left, the Gravedigger. If you want to click yourself to death, sure, go for it. Otherwise, no. Then, last one is the T4485, which I think is a decent tank in its own right. Can be a decent purchase as well, because, you know, you have good alpha damage and somewhat good DPM. You only have 60 critical precision, but overall, it is a very decent tank to get. So yeah, that's the crates. Don't buy them. Buy memberships instead, because they're better. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See you for the next one. Goodbye.